welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and I am the blogger behind MissMoreStyle.com, also on Instagram. Today I want to take a little departure from the beauty and fashion content that I normally post and sort of talk about some productivity tips for you. Thanks to this lovely thing called COVID-19, or the coronavirus as they call it on the street, a lot of you guys are finding yourself working remotely from home. As a full-time blogger and freelancer, I have been working from home for a while, so this whole situation definitely it just feels like business as usual for me. But for some of you, working from home might seem like a challenge. You might feel overwhelmed. You might not feel like you're very productive when you have to work at home. If you find yourself having to work from home, not being able to go into the office, but aren't quite used to working from home, then I am here to offer you some productivity tips that are practical that you can use to keep yourself on track while working from home. So just keep on watching and let's get into it. Before I get to all that, make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet joined my YouTube fam. Typically my content revolves around fashion, beauty, lifestyle, and travel. I will be starting to do more blogging type advice videos, which this kind of pertains to in a sort of way. Please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, join my little family here. Also, if you want to hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time that I have a new upload, do that so that you don't miss out on anything. Let's get into my working from home productivity tips. First tip that I will say is to wake up in the morning the same time as you would if you were going into the office. Don't let this be the time where you're like, oh, I'm working from home, I can sleep in. No, what you want to do is keep yourself as much as you can to the same sort of like schedule that you were on when you were going to work normally, and that will help you overall to sort of keep that mindset. So the first thing that you can do is wake up in the morning at the same time that you would if you had to go into work. My second tip is to get to work as quickly as you can. Typically for me, every day I wake up, I make myself a cup of coffee, I check my emails really quick just to get a feel for what's going on, but I don't get too deep into them, and then I run to the gym, get a workout in, come home, shower, and then I get straight to work. That usually works for me, but for some people it might work better just to wake up, make your coffee, and just get started on your work right away. It's easy to sort of wake up and make coffee and just kind of like sit on the couch for a while and watch TV and sort of waste some time that way. Because typically if you have to go physically to work, you have to wake up, you're on a schedule, you have to get in the car by a certain time so that you give yourself this much time to drive to get to work. And when you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have that sort of pressure, so it's easy to sort of let yourself be lax. But try as much as you can to get going as quickly as possible in the morning. My third tip is to put on an actual outfit. So I have found that when I actually like put on a nice outfit, sort of like do maybe a little bit of makeup is not even crucial. The crucial thing here is to just put on an outfit that is presentable, that you could maybe go out in public in. I wouldn't say like get into like your full work attire as if you were going to your office, but don't just sit around in your sweatpants and pajamas all day. Something about that mentally just like makes me not in the mode to get things done. So I have found when I actually like put on something that I feel cute and presentable in, it really just helps me mentally to get into gear to work. Sort of to that topic, don't work in bed and don't work from the couch. Try to designate a space for yourself to work. I personally have a little home office here that I work in, and this is like a great little space for me. When I come in here, I know I'm getting to work. If you don't have that at home, maybe work from your kitchen table. The reason I say don't work from your couch or the bed is because those places are normally places where you would relax with leisure time, not being productive, and so it's easy when you're in those types of places to just not get things done and to not feel as much of a sense of urgency and motivation. So I would say find a specific space in your home that you're going to work from for this time and make that your place and go there and do your work. The fifth tip is you really have to start learning good time management. It can be a hard adjustment going from working in a traditional setting to working from home, because basically you are your own manager. There's nobody there to make sure that you're on task except for you. One thing that I do every day that really helps me is I make myself a to-do list of everything that I need to do, and I sort of schedule it, like I write it in order that I need to accomplish it or that I want to work on it. That way I sort of have a structure to my day, and I know like everything that I need to do. I can see it on a piece of paper, and nothing makes me feel more accomplished than when I check things off as I get them done. So give yourself a to-do list, and I would say when you make your to-do list, aim high. Like don't go crazy unattainable with the amount of things on your to-do list, but do like push yourself a little bit. You might not accomplish every single thing, but sometimes that little extra push like helps you to work a little bit harder. So I would say always aim higher, but give yourself some grace if you don't accomplish things that you didn't accomplish on that day. You can always just work on the next day. Okay, now one thing that's a huge detriment to working at home, keeping your motivation up, is social media. It can be so tempting and so easy to like just pick up your phone or go on your computer and just endlessly start scrolling Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, what have you. So to eliminate that temptation, if you don't need your phone for work, like maybe put it in another room. Likewise, on your computer, if you have Google Chrome, you can set it to incognito browser mode, which basically like logs you out of your social accounts, and that makes it just harder for you to just go to Facebook and start looking, because then you would have to log in. Another thing that you can do is delete, if you have on your toolbar on your browser, if you have little shortcuts on your toolbar of your social media sites, just get rid of those. Just make it harder for you to easily access social media, and that way it won't be as much of a temptation. My 7th tip is to figure out the times of the day that you are the most motivated, the most energized, the most like mentally, what is the word I'm looking for? You're just the most mentally sharp, and schedule the tasks that are the hardest or the most mentally taxing for those times, so that you can get those done. And then the things that you have to do that are a little bit more mundane, that are a little bit more mindless, put those in the parts of the day where you know you're not quite as like cracking at it. Like, so for me, the afternoon is when I start to get kind of like, so in the morning, I make sure that I get all the things done that are very important, that I need to get done, that are harder, that require, you know, more mental capacity. And then in the afternoon, I leave like the more like mundane automated things. My 8th tip is to listen to music, or to have some background noise that's not too distracting. So for music, I like to listen to like music that doesn't have lyrics, because lyrics tend to like distract me mentally. And so there's a couple channels on YouTube that have sort of like a live playlist that just plays 24/7 of sort of this like trip hop, I guess you could call it, type of genre of music. It's kind of electronic and interesting, and it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I'll leave the links down below of the ones that I like, but I discovered these when I was at school at UCLA, and I would listen to them when I was studying, and it really helps me to focus when I listen to those. I love them for that. Alternatively, I will also sometimes just turn on the TV on low and put it on like E or something, because that's just like my background noise, because E during the day is always either playing old reruns of the Kardashians or Sex and the City or some other like movie, that all of which I've seen like a million times, so I'm not like going to be watching it, but it's a good background noise. And I like to have background noise because it makes me feel less alone. If the house is too quiet, then it weirds me out. I'm from a family of 5 kids. Like, I have to have some noise in order to not feel weird, I guess. My 9th tip is to make sure that when you are working from home, if there are other people that live with you, that you communicate to them your boundaries while you're working. So if you have a roommate, a spouse, siblings, parents, anyone who's living with you, and if you're not normally a person who works from home, the lines get kind of blurred, you know, like people want your attention, they want, you know, you to pay attention to them, and that's fine, but make sure that you talk to them and you're like, hey, look, from these hours, I need to get work done. I'm here, but please like respect my space, and I will be focusing on work. We can hang out later. This is like one of the reasons why I created this little office space in our home. So just have that conversation with those people that you live with, so that there's no unneeded frustration down the road. My 10th tip is every so often, just take a little break. Every like hour or so, I get up and I take like a walk around the building. It helps to like keep your mind going when you have a little bit of physical activity. So it's really good for you to do that. So just make sure you give yourself little breaks throughout the day to just take a break. You know, everyone needs a break. If you were at work, you would be taking a lunch break. You would go to the break room or whatever people do that work in offices. I wouldn't know. Give yourself time to have breaks. My 11th tip is kind of random, but I swear by it, and it's to have peppermint candies around. In the afternoon, like I said, I start to get into that little slump. So when I have just like a little bit of peppermint candy to suck on, it just like wakes me up. It's like that fresh minty flavor just like makes me like, whoo, like wakes me up so nicely, maybe more than coffee even. So I like to have those around just to like pop in my mouth when I'm starting to feel that lull. My 12th and final tip is to decide on a time in the day that you will be finished with work. as a person who works from home, this is like the hardest thing that I struggle with, because I just want to work, work, work. When you work for yourself, you honestly, like, every moment of your waking life is like an opportunity to be making money when you're self-employed. So it's hard to create that balance and tell yourself, okay, I'm going to work this much today, and after this time I am done. It is me time. It's time to spend with my family. That's it. So give yourself that boundary, give yourself that cutoff time, because working from home, you really have to learn that balance. Otherwise, your work can bleed into your personal life, and then it gets exhausting, and you can easily get burnt out that way. So just make sure that you give yourself boundaries and you give yourself a quitting time. Right, those are my 12 productivity tips for working at home. Hopefully everybody will be able to go back to their regular work life very, very soon. In the meantime, if you are finding yourself having to work remotely, or if you are a freelancer like myself, I hope these tips were helpful to you. If they are, please comment down below. And if you have any tips that are amazing for your productivity, please share them. Drop them in the comments below so that we can all benefit. I would really appreciate that. I love reading all of y'all's comments. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure, if you didn't do it already, hit that subscribe button. All right. Well, until then, I hope you all are having a great time working from home, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.